Section 2.1 Television Angry Birds Toons, a TV series based on the game, made its debut on March 16, 2013. Toons is released through third-party video distribution platforms, including Comcast's Xfinity On Demand in the U.S., Samsung Smart TVs, and Roku set-top boxes. It is also available in a number of countries on traditional television broadcasts. Angry Birds Toons is available on mobile devices by an additional Toons channel on all of the Angry Birds app's home screens. In April 11, 2014, Rovio released Piggy Tales, a stop-motion animated series. It tells the story of the Minion Pig's life. Real Angry Birds, inspired by the game Angry Birds, premieres on Nat Geo Wild, July 12, 2015. National Geographic also has a book, Angry Birds Feathered Fun, for learning all about the birds. Section 2.2 Films A 3D computer animated feature film, The Angry Birds Movie, is in development, which is scheduled to be released on May 20, 2016. Developed, produced, and financed by Rovio Entertainment, it will be animated by Sony Pictures Imageworks and distributed worldwide by Sony Pictures Entertainment. It is being directed by animation veterans Clay Kaytis and Fergal Riley in their directorial debut. John Vitti wrote the film's screenplay, and John Cohen and Catherine Winder will serve as the producers. Rovio has also hired David Maisel, former executive producer of Marvel Studios films, such as Iron Man and Thor, to head up production of feature-length films. On October 1, 2014, it was announced that Jason Sudeikis, Bill Hader, Maya Rudolph, Peter Dinklage, Josh Gad, Danny McBride, Kate McKinnon, Tony Hale, Ian Barinholtz, Hannibal Buress, Keegan-Michael Key, Cristela Alonso, Jillian Bell, Danielle Brooks, Romeo Santos, and Smosh, Ian Andrew Hecox and Anthony Padilla have joined the cast. Section 3 Merchandise 3.1 Toys There have been several toys made from Angry Bird characters. The game's official website offers plush versions of the birds and pigs for sale, along with t-shirts featuring the game's logo and characters. In May 2011, Mattel released an Angry Birds board game entitled Angry Birds Knock on Wood. Over 10 million Angry Bird toys have been sold thus far. Rovio opened the first official Angry Birds retail store in Helsinki on November 11, 2011, at 11:11 a.m. local time. It expects to open its next retail store somewhere in China, considered the game's fastest-growing market. Merchandise has been successful, with 45% of Rovio's revenues in 2012 coming from branded merchandise. The most notable toys are the telepods created by Hasbro. These figures are created for Angry Birds Star Wars 2, Angry Birds Go, Angry Birds Stella, and Angry Birds Transformers. These are figures used to teleport a character of the corresponding figure into the game by scanning it via the device's camera. Telepods figures are not only for this use, but can also be used with the toy set that comes with the toy, like other Angry Bird board games. One of the 2012 new models for Hot Wheels cars from Mattel is based on the red, blue, and yellow birds from Angry Birds. The package card bears both the Hot Wheels and Angry Birds logo. Section 3.2 Print Publications On 2011, Rovio published a cookbook titled Bad Piggies, Egg Recipes, along with doodle books based on some of the characters of the game. After a few weeks of the release of Angry Birds Space, they also released Angry Birds Space books about numbers, alphabets, and stickers. On March 20th, 2012, National Geographic published a paperback book titled Angry Birds Space, A Furious Flight into the Final Frontier, shortly before the release of Angry Birds Space, which became available on March 22, 2012. In the same year, Rovio created a contest with the prize Angry Birds Hatching a Universe, a book about the franchise and all the characters. As of March 10, 2014, IDW Publishing announced that they will be publishing Angry Bird comics starting in June 2014, with Paul Tobin being the writer. Section 3.3, Food Products. In spring 2012, Aldi started to manufacture Angry Bird soft drinks after making a deal with Rovio. At first, there came two different tastes, Tropic, tropical fruits, and Paradise, pineapple mandarin. In September 2012, Aldi released two new tastes to the soft drink collection, Lagoon, pear apple, and Space Comet, orange cola. Section 4, Parks and Attractions. Section 4.1, Angry Birds Land. The game's characters have been used, officially or otherwise, in amusement park attractions. In September 2011, the Window of the World theme park in China opened an unlicensed Angry Birds attraction. Visitors to the park use a large slingshot to launch stuffed versions of the bird characters at green balloons that represent the pigs. Upon learning of the attraction, Rovio Entertainment reported to be considering working with the theme park to officially license it. In March 2012, Rovio announced plans for an official Angry Birds Land that opened in April 28, 2012 at the Sarkkaniemi Adventure Park in Finland. Angry Birds Land is expected to open by May 2014 at Johor Bahru Center in Malaysia. Most recently, it was announced that UK theme park Thorpe Park will open their own Angry Birds Land themed area within the park in May 2014. The new area will consist of the reinstatement of the 4D cinema with a 10-minute-long Angry Birds film with 4D effects, a new edition of the themed Angry Birds Dodgems, and a slight retheme of an existing drop tower ride, Detonator. Section 4.2, Angry Birds Activity Park. Rovio also opened activity parks of the game. The first one was opened in Lightwater Valley that features dance floors and playgrounds that include slides and a massive touchscreen device for visitors to play Angry Birds. They also have Angry Birds Space attractions as part of the activity park with a mini movie theater. They also include shops for Angry Birds merchandise and birthday party rooms. The attraction also opened in Vuokoti and holiday clubs. Vuokoti features obstacle courses and races, and a separate Angry Birds town with cars for kids to ride. Section 4.3, Angry Birds Space Encounter. On June 2013, Rovio and NASA opened an Angry Birds Space-themed park at the Kennedy Space Center titled Angry Birds Space Encounter. It features various experiences to the Angry Birds Space video game, such as creating characters and shooting birds at pigs. The attraction was also opened in the Space Center, Houston. Section 5, Global Impact. Section 5.1 Television. The Angry Birds characters have been referenced in television programs throughout the world. The Israeli comedy show Erez Nehederet, in English, A Wonderful Country, one of the nation's most popular TV programs, satirized recent failed Israeli-Palestinian peace attempts by featuring the Angry Birds in peace negotiations with the pigs. Clips of the segment went viral, getting viewers from all around the world. The sketch received favorable coverage from a variety of independent blogs, such as digitaltrends.com, hotair.com, and intomobile.com, as well as from online news media agents such as the Christian Science Monitor, The Guardian, and MSNBC. American television hosts Conan O'Brien, Jon Stewart, and Daniel Tosh have referenced the game in comedy sketches on their respective series, Conan, The Daily Show, and Tosh.0. In the 30 Rock episode, Plan B, guest star Aaron Sorkin laments to Liz Lemon, "Our craft is dying while people are playing Angry Birds and poking each other on Facebook." He then provides a tip for Liz to improve her score in the game. In February 2011, American journalist Jake Tapper mockingly introduced U.S. Senator Chris Coons as the Angry Birds champion of the Senate during the National Press Club's annual dinner. Some of the game's most notable fans include Prime Minister David Cameron of the United Kingdom, who plays the iPad version of the game, and author Salman Rushdie, who claims he is something of a master at Angry Birds. Basketball star Kevin Durant is an avid fan of Angry Birds and regularly plays other NBA stars in matches, although he is wary of cheating. In August 2011, the Milwaukee Brewers played the Angry Birds theme song during pregame introductions of the arch-rival St. Louis Cardinals players, in reference to former Cardinals manager Tony La Russa's propensity to bean opposing players. Angry Birds also appears briefly, for comic relief, during a scene in the 2013 film G.I. Joe: Retaliation, in which Zartan plays the game while waiting for the world leader's response to his threats of annihilation. Angry Birds were featured in the 2013 Helsinki episode of Veep. Angry Birds was referenced in the film The Starving Games, a parody of the Hunger Games. A group in the Indian show Dance Plus have done a dance based on Angry Birds. Section 5.2 Advertisements. Angry Birds and its characters have been featured in advertisements for other products. In March 2011, the characters began appearing in a series of advertisements for Microsoft's Bing search engine. At the 2011 South by Southwest Festival in Austin, Texas, Nokia used scrims on a downtown building to project an advertisement for its new N8 handset that included the game's characters. A June 2011 T-Mobile advertisement filmed in Barcelona, Spain, included a real-life mock-up of the game in a city plaza, while Nokia used the game at a Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, to promote an attempt to set a world record for the largest number of people playing a single mobile game. Finnair has also used Angry Birds in their advertising, including taping an Airbus A340 airliner with the Angry Birds figures and holding an Angry Birds tournament on board a flight to Singapore. Rovio has also prepared a number of web-based promotional variants of Angry Bird themed around creations of other companies, such as Finnish snack company Fazer, Spanish pizza delivery chain Telepizza, and Japanese network Fiji TV. as well as promotions of American brands including Cheetos, Wonderful Pistachios, and Coca-Cola. On November 2013, Indian brand Parley started a marketing campaign in which a trading card is included in each packet of Parley's wafers, and it included a related contest to win Angry Birds merchandise. Section 5.3 Sports. Also in March 2012, Formula One driver Heikki Kovalainen unveiled an Angry Birds crash helmet that he will use in the 2012 season, following sponsorship from Rovio. Kimi Räikkönen has also a Angry Birds space logo on his cap. Angry Birds has teamed up with the Lotus F1 team for the upcoming 2012 Monaco Grand Prix, with its logo on the top of each Lotus F1 car's nose cone, as well as a promotional web-based version of Angry Birds in honor of Kovalainen. Hockey Bird, an angry hockey-playing bird, was the official mascot of the 2012 IIHF Ice Hockey World Championships. It was designed by Tony Kaisinius and Rovio Entertainment. Section 5.4 Video Games. The game's popularity has spawned knockoff and parody games that utilize the same basic mechanics as Angry Birds. For example, Angry Turds features monkeys hurling feces and other objects at hunters who have stolen their babies. Another game entitled Chicks and Vixens, and released in beta form on Windows Phone devices, replaces the birds and pigs with chickens and foxes, respectively. The developers of Chicks and Vixens intended the game as a challenge to Rovio Mobile, which stated at the time that a Windows Phone port of Angry Birds would not be ready until later in 2011. There were also collaborations in other games like Puzzles and Dragons and Sonic Dash, and vice versa in Angry Birds Epic. The Angry Birds theme song and its characters appear in Just Dance 2016. Section 5.5 Religion. Angry Birds has inspired works of religious analogy. A 5-part essay entitled Angry Birds Yoga, How to Eliminate the Green Pigs in Your Life, was written by Giridhari Dasa of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness of Brazil, utilizing the characters and gameplay mechanics to explain various concepts of yoga in Vaishnavism as understood and interpreted by the Hare Krishna. The piece attracted much media attention in Brazil and abroad for its unique method of philosophical religious presentation. The piece was also recognized and appreciated by Rovio Mobile's Peter Vesterbacka, who was prompted to comment on Twitter, "Very cool. I can see an Angry Birds yoga becoming a worldwide craze." Section 6 Controversy. Section 6.1 Leaking User Data. In January 2014, it was revealed that Angry Birds was considered a leaky app and was used to collect data about its users, including their sexual orientation and location, by the NSA and GCHQ. In retaliation, anti-NSA hackers defaced Rovio's website. Claims were made by Edward Snowden that the app was leaky and that they were capable of siphoning off data. According to the Register, the information was leaked in the in-game advertisement code that was embedded by Millennial Media. Millennial's tracking software generates a personal record for each user that can store information from their political affiliation and sexual orientation to whether their marital status was single, married, divorced, engaged, or swinger. This information is used to target in-app ads more effectively and can be collected by UK and US intelligence agencies for analysis. In a statement to the press, Rovio denied that they were themselves providing any information to intelligence agencies, but did not exclude the possibility that their advertisers might do so. Following this revelation, on January 29th, the Angry Birds site was defaced by hackers who replaced it with Spying Birds via a DNS hijacking attack. According to Rovio, the defacement was caught in minutes and corrected immediately. The Syrian Electronic Army tweeted after the incident that the attack had been carried out by a friend of theirs. Section 7. See also Boom Blocks. Crush the Castle. This sound file and all text in the article are licensed under the Creative Commons Attribution Share-alike 3.0 Unported license. Available at http://creativecommons.org/licenses/by-sa/3.0.